All right. It's kind of dark in here. I guess I can see everybody. Frank, Chuck, Stephen over there, Bill, Susan, Kathy, Larry, Helen, Lynn. Did I miss anybody? Um, any announcements this morning? Oh, let me say one thing. We're trying a new microphone and we'll see whether, when it's all over, whether it's picking up the way we think it will, but we don't have to pass the mic today. So, any other announcements? No? Well, Bill and I communicated, and we're not going to do tips and tricks today. So, if I can just find share. Yeah.
And in conclusion.
Yeah, we didn't have very many photos today, and we've ripped right through them.
I couldn't be at the last meeting. I had left the week before. We went to Italy for 10 days. So I hadn't submitted anything, but while I was over there, we arrived in Venice, and then from Venice, we were heading up to Verona, and we were at the train station, and I love the train stations over there. And I saw this, the high-speed train right alongside of us. And what I like the sleekness of it, plus I like that whatever that logo is that they have on the side of the train. They're on all the trains.
It's a griffin. The griffin, yeah.
At first I thought it was a lion with a man's face, but when I look closer, no, it is a lion. But,
There's one thing that's missing in this, and that's a front window.
yeah, right.
What's the symbolism of a griffin? I don't remember my mythology there. Anybody know?
It's connected with one of the saints.
Yeah, I don't remember what it
It's
was.
old though.
What's that something to do with speed? 'Cause,
Yeah, it's got wings and
It was the mascot for my college, and I can't even remember what it was.
really? A winged lion? That's cool.
Yeah, that's funny.
So was that moving or?
no, that he had just pulled into the station. I was on the train alongside, so he pulled in, and then they had stopped, and he started letting everybody off.
Wow, so this was through the window?
Because it was all, I guess he's got to stick his head out that side window and look forward, which could be dangerous.
Or a camera.
Yeah, they probably have a front end camera on there.
Well, trains are victims of graffiti, and this is some of the most impressive graffiti I've seen on a train.
So that was through a window?
No, ours was getting ready to leave, so I walked to the open door and took a picture of it, because it was, the windows were pretty dirty, and it wouldn't have come out there. And I still had plenty of time before we left.
Nice.
And this was on the train ride, and we're heading up to Verona, and there was this couple sitting across, and I liked the fact that, first of all, they never talked to each other. They were with each other, but never said a word. She was working on something, he was looking out the window. So I thought, well, this would be a nice train shot, where you got the only drawback to it was, I tried trying to get it darker in the window, but by reducing the highlights, but just couldn't bring it down enough. But at least they came out good. They were, properly exposed.
It's like comfortable seats.
I tell you, it really was comfortable. It was, and so open. And the real good thing was, we were going first class, so you got these seats, but you also got a cookie and a bottle of water.
What, no wine?
No wine, but this one was, I took it with my Canon 6D, and this was the train to Verona. a 28 millimeter, 1/500th of a second with an ISO of 500. And the only thing I did was I reduced the highlights as much as I could to get that window properly exposed. And then I just cropped it because it went a lot wider, so I dropped it down in post-processing.
It's a great shot though.
Yeah, it's just, it kind of tells a story here. People traveling on the train, not talking to each other, so they wouldn't be married.
We're together, but we're not together.
They said it all.
Yeah.
All right, we're moving on to Stephen from last time as well.
Yeah, this is, don't need to talk about the pictures, but the reason I thought it was worth showing is because they're from the North Carolina Transportation Museum, which I didn't know there was one until I was thinking about where do I get pictures of trains. It's about 75 miles from here, or in Selma toward, the eastern part of the state. But there's a lot of, fun stuff to shoot there. There's bunches of trains, obviously, but also antique cars and so forth. It's a nice place to spend an afternoon.
It is. I was there a couple of years ago.
Plenty of
It
things
was
to
great.
shoot, enjoy looking at.
And I like where the locomotives are. They're all on that wheel that
Yeah.
rotates,
The
so
next
you
picture
gotta pull
will
out.
show that, which, the next picture, I had no idea how to get a picture of this.
But you did a good job of finding one.
Yeah.
I like this a whole lot.
That is great.
What that is a roundhouse, and going across, the trains can drive out onto that, and then that rotates, and can go into then either of those 15 or 16 bays on the other side where, they work on them. I guess one of the things with a steam locomotive is they can't go backwards. So if you either have to build a big circular track,
Yeah.
or have some way of turning them around back to front so they can head back in the other direction. But the whole thing rotates and moves, it's kind of neat.
Very impressive.
Good shot.
San Francisco.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Really good.
The sky
It's a
is
fun
lovely.
afternoon, it's a place to shoot.
I think like the saying too is kind of adds to it a lot.
Mhm.
The
All right.
sky is lovely. Dude, you got.
Yeah, the sky is fake, I think.
Did you put the think careful in there or was that there?
That's there. That's part of the real deal.
Just want to see how much you're using.
Yeah, you start getting into this and you think one thing, you work out on the other things, you're thinking,
All right, thanks, Stephen, both for the photo and the
Yeah.
information about the place. So,
It's definitely worth a trip
Yeah.
to go out there.
You think the roof's
It's a good interface, it was trees.
Now, this is in Selma or the one out? to
The one
west?
out on the other side of Greensboro, out beyond there.
Yeah, could be on Greensboro, yes.
Yeah.
There's another one in Salisbury, that's one you.
Yeah, I think there's a train museum in Salisbury.
Okay, so this one was near Selma?
No, it's over towards Charlotte.
Okay.
It's Selma's
Right, right.
town, yeah, Selma's the town. I'd never heard of Selma either, which, doesn't mean much that I hadn't heard of it, but.
Yeah, Selma's in Johnston County, with Smithfield, so I didn't know
That's what I
this
thought,
was
yeah.
there. Yeah, okay. Gotcha.
all right, going to color photos, no pun intended.
When I lived in Kentucky, there was 3 cities named Fairview.
Okay. So it's possible,
So my color's blue, obviously, or some variation, and that's a real sky.
That's lovely.
Looks like one of my fake skies, actually.
That's at Price Lake, if you're familiar with that, it's in the Julian Price Park off of the
Yes,
Parkway.
yes, I've been there a number of times. It's a nice little park, yeah.
It's a nice little park, and there's a kayak or canoe all the way to the right side. But we were sitting there, and it was really crowded. They had everyone was out with boats. That's
Yes.
that's a kayak or a canoe lake, and they rent them there.
There's that nice view of Grandfather Mountain, if you're
Right,
where the dam is.
Oh, okay, out
Yeah.
that way, all right.
Also, that's a good place for Milky Way pictures at night.
Oh,
So what pictures?
Milky Way.
Pictures of the star, like star pictures, if you're by the dam part, the Milky Way is, well, I think it's this time of year in the summer, late summer, it's arranged vertically above the lake.
It's a great shot, Larry.
That is.
The way it's framed?
it's.
Yep.
I like
Yeah.
the
It's
framing with the
my,
trees on the
So
side.
if you're interested, it's marker 296. I didn't take the after shots.
Oh.
Sorry, apologize.
All right, print it big.
That's really nice.
Really nice.
And this one is also in that category.
So this is kind of bluish,
Mm-hmm.
meets the theme. This was at Wrightsville. ISO 50, 26 millimeter, 2.4 f stop, and 1/2500 of a second.
Really nice.
Usually it doesn't have any waves, you know, as you know, the beach is, there must have been enough tide must have been coming in or something, but there's nobody on it.
I like the contrast of the brown on the sand with the blue.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the lines.
all the lines, yeah, leading lines.
Two winners, Larry. And we're back to Stephen.
So I guess the word colors, and I was white, if we're going to pick a color. This is it's an interesting place, but it's far away. It's in Portland, Oregon.
Oh.
And without.
It's a long telephoto. Sorry.
What's kind of interesting about it being a Zen garden is, the Zen folks, they work very hard to make fake nature look natural. So this is the side of a mountain, but most of the boulders and so forth that are in there were arranged to be there. It's an authentic mountain, sure enough, but the stuff there, just wasn't there originally, 40 years ago or so when they built it. But they do kind of a marvelous job with that, I think, and it's an interesting concept of it, to sort of, work on things to make them look natural.
It's like a form of sculpture.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's sort of, it's more perfect than might actually kind of occur in nature. The next one's kind of the same thing coming up in space. But, we expand that a little bit. I don't know if that will,
Yeah.
yeah.
Very nice.
I think that's gorgeous. I was there maybe 3 years ago, and this was from last week, but that image has been in my head for 3 years just because it was so striking to me. And you look at it, it's kind of a weird thing. I mean, what the hell is that? Here's this bamboo tube with water trickling out of it. But the whole effect to me is kind of enormously pleasing. I mean, it's very relaxing and settling. But it's kind of a part of the whole Zen thing, I think, which I guess I've thought of myself as a Buddhist for the last maybe 60 years or so. But it's it's startling to me that I get startled by things that people have been at this for generations come up with. Wow, what the hell was that? So, if you looked at that and you thought, well, suppose that trickle of water wasn't there, there wouldn't be a picture anymore.
Agreed, yeah.
Yeah.
So is that water running down the side on the right?
I'm sorry?
Overflowing?
The dark spot on the side, he's asking if that's another stream of water.
Well, it's water trickling over the edge.
Over the edge,
It
okay.
fills up, runs down the side of it.
It is reflecting the light and then,
Yeah,
darker than this.
and, so you've got this place like with that waterfall we looked at before, all of that's pumped up to the top, it's being recycled and, from this too, it's a tiny amount, but, the things set up, the things drain, and they drain into a big pump, but it pumps it back up to the top, and, it's more of this kind of artificial naturalness that, they end up with things that look like somehow it's the essence of naturalness, and it isn't.
Very zen.
Is this in the same place?
Yes, it's a Japanese garden in Portland.
Beautiful.
And, it's
Really texture.
It's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been,
Nice shot, Stevens.
Nice.
So it's hard not to get a good shot of some of these things,
I think that's one of your best, I've always said I like it.
Yeah,
Love the tones of the green.
Well, I like it too, and again, it's absolutely not me. I mean, there it is, it's sitting there in broad daylight, and you go click, and if you pay any attention to what your shutter speed is doing and that sort of thing, you're gonna get, a fantastic picture. But that's all right,
That's what it is.
Yeah,
I kind of don't worry about
very
how
calming.
difficult it is.
yeah,
I'm much more concerned with, am I bringing back something that I can enjoy looking at?
yeah. All right.
Beautiful.
Frank's up
It's
again.
going up on the wall somewhere, but,
This was taken while I was away in Italy. We went to the Murano Glassworks on the Murano Island. And took a tour of where they were blowing glass, but he showed us this ornament that they did. And I just love, it's got more colors than, but I love the red and the blue, the offset of the red and blue and the green. And so he took it and put it on a table near the back door, and really the only light was coming off of the kilns. It was a dark day out there.
Wow.
And so I took the picture, and let's see. This was a Picasso glass strip,
Yeah.
they called it. And it was taken 2 weeks ago. And again, I love the reds and the blues on the figure, the Picasso figure. It was taken 48 millimeter, a 1/400th of a second, f4.5, and an ISO of 640. But the only processing I did was I didn't touch the colors at all, I left it. I just selected the subject because there was a lot of mess in the background with the other side of the building, and there was some garbage out there. So I selected the subject and went to the inverse, and I just completely reduced the exposure on the background, I get it black. And it turned out good, then I put a frame around it.
Yeah, the frame, especially
But
here, that would make the picture.
especially with the white against that black.
Yeah,
But again, I didn't touch the saturation, and that's exactly what it was. I
incredible.
hate to think of what that thing cost, and the only regret was I had hoped I could see them making one. I don't know how they do it, it's not like they're
Yeah.
typical glass blowing, they've got to do a different process to get this thing.
So this is like Picasso design?
Yeah, they were given the rights to do Picasso's designs,
In glass,
yeah, in glass.
and they do multiples like this?
Yes, the other images of his, other paintings, they do also.
So is this piece of glass a one of a kind, or?
Like a series maybe, like you.
Yeah, I didn't ask him, but it could be, yeah, it could, this is one, they would do that one, and, they did one that was almost a full-size horse, 3/4, and it was stained, it was glass,
Wow.
and it was.
And how large is this?
If I had it on the table here, it's probably up to here,
Oh, wow.
yeah. it's pretty
Wow.
big.
I think, and I'm certainly not an expert, but I think part of this is maybe blown, but the lips, for example, the eyebrows,
Yeah,
I think were probably put on the hot glass.
and
The other technique with glass is fusion, and I think that's probably how it was done, but
I'd love to see how they get the colors in there.
yeah.
Price tag on it?
Uh,
Or if you have to ask, you can.
I think that was, if I remember correctly, because they had it they had one outside, they showed us, and then they had it in their store. I think it was 990 euros.
Cool shot, cool thing.
Now this one was was taken on another island. We stopped on Murano, then we went to Burano. And I don't know if anybody's ever been there, but it's a small little village, but the colors of the homes are just unbelievable.
No kidding.
And again, so I saw this one, and I like the contrast of the red and the yellow on the side, and touched them with a little bit of the green. And that was 35 millimeter, 1/400th of a second, f7.1, and ISO 100. And I just love that red, that contrast of the red and the yellow. I could have cut the side building out, but I left it in there. And again, I didn't touch any saturation or anything. This is exactly what it was. It was a sunny day, so I just like toned down the highlights, so some of that white got a little blown out. But that was it.
Well, I don't know, you can see in that flower box at the very bottom in the middle, you can see everything,
Yeah.
so it's not blown out.
And I guess it was still hot enough, they put those sheets or whatever over the front door, those awnings, to kind of keep it cooler inside the house.
Yeah.
The sun doesn't bake through there.
It needs clean gutters too.
Yeah.
Got the green on the top too.
Huh?
That's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
It is.
Wow.
All right,
Image from Arles,
Yeah.
that front of the house.
Bill,
Okay, this was me. A few months ago, we're out at this guy Steve Long's house from the Chapel Hill Camera Club, and my impression here is that I like blue,
Yeah.
which happens to be my favorite color, even though every car I've ever owned was red. I don't know why. But yeah, this image with the reflections and everything, it just really drew me in.
yeah,
I did a little cropping of it because off to the right, if you go out a little further, there was no clouds at all, so I just wanted to keep
Oh, okay.
clouds all within the image.
Right. Beautiful.
So it's really just kind of maybe a little straightening, a little cropping, haze reduction, and save it.
It was a gorgeous day that day.
Yeah.
I like the glassiness of the water.
Yeah.
great landscape.
Very watery, it's like the essence of water.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where I kept, I didn't use the rule of thirds at all because really the symmetry from the sky and the reflection,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
otherwise I would have probably done things a little differently with it.
It worked. It looks
Yeah,
great.
beautiful.
And this was just one of those bright days where you had plenty of sun and,
Yeah.
And the sky color is beautiful.
yeah, it just,
Very nice.
it was just a perfect day. This is an old one. This was in one of the plazas in Havana.
Oh, okay.
And if you were in the center of the plaza, they had all these fabric images all around. There was probably about 10 of them. They were huge. And people were in the center of the plaza taking pictures of the pictures. So what I decided to do, I went behind them. So this is really an image from behind this big fabric image.
Oh, okay, on the other side of the fabric.
Yeah.
All right.
And as you see toward the bottom, that's a building on the other side of the street.
Oh, okay.
And what I really liked about this, number one, the clouds that were behind the guy, and if you can tell, he only has one leg. And down below on the left, you see his crutches.
Oh,
Very
wow.
bottom, at the bottom of the right crutch is a bottle of liquor.
Wow.
So it kind of tells a whole story,
Yeah.
that,
Wow.
life in Havana.
Wow.
But, yeah, I probably did about 5 or 6 different images from behind. And
That's a good idea.
Sometimes it pays off to just do something completely different than what everybody else is doing.
Yep.
And like in your case, you went behind the
oh yeah, and I
track
have
on
some
the
of
other
the
side.
kids like jumping in the air, and it looks like they're just flying, and just.
Wow.
cool.
Interesting.
Do stuff differently.
What year did you go down?
2019.
Okay.
it was, well, it was 2 weeks before you couldn't go anymore.
Before they shut down.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Tom is next. Another blue favor?
Yeah,
How do I know?
yeah, they saw it, yeah, this was, probably people saw this, it was at the Harris Theater over there on 1551.
Oh, right, the
They're
building.
expanding that thing, and this is the insulation
Really? I didn't see that.
all piled up there.
Yeah.
That's a cool guy.
Colors and flavor.
It may be, I don't know, I had this a couple weeks ago. Anyway, nothing particularly, it's,
Love the shapes.
1.8, 3.368 milliseconds.
You know, I like when you zoomed in, Mike, is the fact that you had the blue with just that one red cone in the
Yeah,
middle of it. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's the picture.
Did you mess with the tone or the color, like the white balance, did you?
Yes.
Um,
But not much.
Yeah, because it looks, yeah.
No, just a very little, but what I did was I changed with an HSL adjustment, and then I had to go back and remove the HSL adjustment from the white and the curve.
Okay, yeah, because that looks all very natural.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool, yeah,
Right,
cool effect.
so you,
So which one is your color? Is it the red?
good question, I think, the blue is pretty.
Yeah.
ooh,
You sure it's blue?
what is
This
this?
is the same image.
Yeah.
What?
Inverted upside down in closer, as Mike was suggesting with the previous one.
What about the black dots? Are they there?
The black dots, this is really, really cool. So in, I go through all kinds of stuff and when I mess with photographs and somehow or another, everybody talks about how levels drive you crazy and they drive me crazy. And those are places where I used the inpainting brush tool to eliminate defect.
Mhm.
So I had gone through all of these places and pulled out places that I didn't like, because I just didn't like them. And then when I started stacking things up, I couldn't get rid of the dots. Well, I mean, I saw the dots and I thought, oh no, those dots are staying. No. And then I started thinking, yeah, but why are they there? And I worked at it, trying to figure out how to get rid of them, and I couldn't.
Yeah.
But I really like them. I think that's what
I think that's good.
Oh, yeah.
Futuristic cityscapes as well.
Yeah, I think I call it Fuchsia and Blue City.
That's a frame. Really?
Yeah, I like it. I like
Cool,
it.
yeah.
Okay, how many hours?
I don't know. Maybe a half of a football game.
I was gonna say, how many football games? Just a half, yeah.
There's a movie that I think Interstellar. I
Yeah.
can't remember who,
That's right.
some big names in the movie. And this is the part of it where the main character had gotten into a 3D time conversion, but that's what reminds me of. Great picture.
Mike, can you rotate that 90 degrees?
I think, maybe.
Yeah, and it starts, he feels like it's
Oh,
falling.
from above.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Completely different picture.
Do it the other way too, the other way, yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Anyway.
And now I've lost which one was the original. It's this one, right?
Yeah.
I like this one too, because of the heavier parts at the bottom, but it works in every,
I like that too, all of them.
yeah.
I'm ready.
Yeah, Jetsons.
Anyway, it was fun.
Yeah. It's really cool.
I think I put it in my Flickr.
Yeah.
Yeah, goes to a bunch of abstract groups.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Tom. Susan?
Why, it's never good to be after Tom. So my favorite color anymore today is a turquoisey. And I went out and there's lots and lots of, what is it, fungus or something around. And I kind of did it on the spur of the moment, it was after one of the rains. And I really like the stuff around my house there. You're probably gonna see more fungus pictures and mushroom pictures and all that. I'm starting to realize that's what I like doing. So my turquoise is my favorite color. I did make this blacker and put shadows on it and cropped it. It's beautiful. But there's lots of stuff like that around me. Some of it even has whiskers, which I will do in a future picture, little black whiskers. I don't know what they are.
And Susan, I kind of got engrossed with the picture and I didn't, what is this stuff? Is it moss?
I don't know. It's some kind of like, I guess it's lichen. I guess it's lichen. Yeah, I guess it's a lichen, and it's just all over the branches, and like I said, some of it has these little black whiskers.
Sharp as heck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if you turned that one upside down?
Yeah, zoom out of it, and see what it looks like.
Let me back this off a little bit.
Yeah, that might be better. What do you think?
I just was interested in seeing all of the light at the bottom,
Yeah.
seeing, yeah.
Flip over there.
No, it doesn't work. I like the way you had it.
Well, that's the nice thing about abstracts. They don't have an up and down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nice shot.
Now that, on the left, it looks like a face with a green beard on it.
Yeah.
Sure does.
It
Nose,
does, yeah.
2 eyes.
Well, that's right, looks like one of the eyes is looking at it.
Yeah.
It's popping out.
Wow.
Oh, wow. This is, I have a couple orchids in the house, and I really like it, and I've actually taken lots of pictures of these orchids that I haven't shown any of them to you, but then this one, if you kind of, on the right side, if you look on the inside of that, the one on the right, it's actually, I don't know, Mike, you can make it just a little bigger, you can see it sort of, see that swirling? I like that.
That's nice.
Beautiful.
What's that light in the upper right-hand side, is that natural light from the window?
No, I have these lights up above,
Okay,
and so I just kind of let them
so it just work.
do whatever, whatever it was, I didn't add any lighting.
Yeah,
The lighting looks great.
the little vignette, or I know it's not imposed, but the bright right, or sort of bright, right corner top, I think is a big part of this.
Yeah,
For me, it is.
I agree.
And I did make this blacker too, and case removal, so it did take some of that out. It's beautiful.
Well, this is another big one, frame it.
Yeah.
So, well done.
Let me ask a question, on top of that, we got a pedal and it's, right on the edge of the frame. And obviously, you wanted it there, but I'm not saying there's a problem with it, I wouldn't have done that.
Well,
And I guess what I'm wondering is, what's your sense of it? You did do it, it's beautiful, but I wouldn't have done it that way, and I wondered why you did.
so there was another picture
Uh-huh,
that had the petal in there,
yeah,
but I liked the way this one came out better, and I didn't try to reshoot it, but I did think about that, I thought it did cut off the petal, and like I said, the other one that had the petal, I just didn't like the way that looked as much, so I probably could have gone back and reshot it, but I
so
didn't.
it was more a question of liking the whole image of the thing.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah,
Rather than that being a choice particularly
but
that you
I
made.
guess I understand what you're saying, because I thought that too, but then
Yeah.
I like this image better, so.
Yeah,
I think
Sure works.
you got the green stems showing.
I mean, in some ways, I think it's a better shot than if you had done
Instead of
that,
just
but
being, here's some flowers.
could look contrived if it were
looks
too
like
symmetrical.
living you know.
And they actually just came out that way when I made it blacker, just to, for some reason,
Yeah.
the stems were
Yeah,
there,
it works.
yeah.
And if it were shot to be sharp all the way through, you'd probably focus more on that one petal out of there.
Yeah.
But because everything is falling off from the center, it almost gets lost, which is good.
Yeah,
I think that beautiful works.
super.
Beautiful, right it.
Chuck,
Oh, yeah, that was one, both of my pictures were from, my trip to France, which was a year ago, June, so not this past June, but a year ago. And, we were walking around, this is in the town or city of Chartres, where the famous cathedral is, and of course, that cathedral is famous for its blue stained glass, and blue is my favorite color. So this is really, I guess, a mashup between blue and purple, but we were walking around the town, because a lot of places in Europe do these light shows on their famous buildings at night, and so this was a combination of light being reflected from someplace else and something on the street. It was just an alleyway, and we're just walking around, and I just took this picture, so I forget, I think I just called it alley blue or something like that, but I had it on aperture priority, and so I was like at 5.3, which wasn't the widest open, but close to it, I guess. And that was like my kit lens, like 55 millimeter. So it was a high ISO. I'm surprised it came out as clear as it did. My camera is not the clearest at high value, so it's 25,600 ISO.
wow.
It was a 40th of a second, so I guess I did a pretty good job holding it still too.
You did, yeah.
I think I used that technique where you hold your breath and, you know, hold the camera and
Lock your arms.
push it, yeah.
There's virtually no noise in this.
The lantern,
You know, lantern has that glow around it, and I don't remember that when I took the shot. I just liked the alley.
I like the fact that the door is off on the third instead of right smack in the middle.
Yeah,
Another
so,
frame one. Got a lot of it around the wall. Yeah.
gorgeous that, and then, and this one, this was like, I think I was like in the same area, it was really close as I recall. And this is right across the street from the Chartres Cathedral, and there was a light show was happening, and light was reflecting on this shutter. And I titled this one J'accuse. But I had a couple other shots, and they were just in a conversation. I don't think there was any accusing going on, but it sure looks like it. And,
Pointing a finger.
but
And that finger is,
Waiting to see you on the train.
Because they're still, yes, they are, they're still learning about each other.
There's
Yes.
the image right there.
Yeah.
That's
Is that a restaurant or
You know,
cafe?
one of the things you'll read is that good photographs are not about or not of something, they're about something. You know, this is an about something,
Yeah.
what's going on?
yeah, tells a story.
And I really like I've always liked that contrast of blue with kind of the gold or yellow that you can get if you're lucky, and like the blue hour photographs with some artificial light mixed in. And so anyway, that's why I chose that one. And that was similar, it was also a 25,600 ISO. This was my wide open aperture. Oh, again, it was 5.6. So probably, yeah, I think I probably could have, I think that lens goes a little lower, but anyway, it was a 60th of a second, so.
Chuck, I really like that you left, sorry, go ahead.
No,
I really like that you left that small
right there?
light blue stripe on the side, on the right. I think it keeps, otherwise it looks too static. Too
yeah,
much like a,
I don't know why exactly I liked it, but I liked that, the street sign, and like that, you know, and I just thought it was,
it just
Yeah,
continues
just-
to
I like
throw
the
the light
combination.
off the frame, I think that really works. So I hold my hand up, blocking it out, and it
Yeah.
just looks static. Anyway, that's.
Is that what it was, a street sign, or?
Yeah,
yeah, I think it was, a sign like, something about maybe a pedestrian direction with a green arrow, but then there was also
There's a
that,
handle down here.
the barrier, like you're not supposed to go in that cars or something,
And I love the interior.
Yeah.
It's actually-
Yeah, so you can tell how old the building is by
Is
the.
this, that's going up to the right and a handle
Oh,
there?
yeah.
I
Like a
think
door?
it is, that might be a
Yeah.
That's a
door,
door, yeah.
yeah.
It looks like it.
Yeah, it was an interesting building, it was, it was in the medieval part of town, I mean, it was, those are very old buildings.
Has a nice mood to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good
So I
shot.
went to the archives for both of mine because I've been distracted with bike racing stuff lately, so I need to get out and take any photographs.
Okay. Kathy,
So I ended up, these are not my favorite colors. But my favorite colors just were a washout. So I decided to focus on the play of the light across these colors and the lack thereof, and just curious about what people think.
Is that a cat?
tuxedo,
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
tuxedo, the cat,
It's kind of cat,
My sister's cat,
black and
just a
white.
cat.
black and white.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
You have to be a cat person to know that shorthand.
Yeah, I never heard that.
That is a beautiful shot.
Really.
I like that.
Because you know exactly what it is.
Well, I didn't want it,
You know,
yeah,
the whiskers and the
yeah,
hair.
Uh-huh.
and I didn't want it to be just, here's a cat. So the only thing I did to it was increase saturation. Was maybe an hour where the sun was out and the cats were on the deck.
Oh,
So
wow.
I'm like, there's an orange cat, but could not get, which is one of my favorite colors, but could not get shots of it.
The whiskers are tack sharp.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I also like the black on the lower left, there's a little bit of black there.
And it's sort of black and gray.
Really cool.
Yeah, I like the
Really
cropping and the orientation. I don't know if did you flip it to portrait from landscape or? was that the
No,
crop?
I took it the way you see it,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
And how deep a crop is it?
Like a tiny bit.
Oh, okay.
There's a little bit of the deck on the upper right-hand side, and I cut that out. I actually would have liked, if I had your talent with photo editing, I would have taken the deck off, because I really like that really fine feathering of the fur that was really hit by the light, but I got home yesterday, and I did not have anything else. So I like this one.
Yeah, it's terrific.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, I like that one too.
Different cat.
Oh, different cat.
Looks like straw.
Yeah, it does.
Was that shot in?
Yeah, it's like
No, that's the color. This actually reminds me of if you guys remember, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, I had some mushrooms with some grass that looked wind blown. And so I was going for the same effect. But again, didn't really do much, increased the saturation, and that's it.
This one's great too.
Yeah.
Couldn't get the colors I wanted, so I decided to go for the light and the texture.
It looks like an aerial photograph of
Mm. Wheat,
wheat.
Like a wheat field or
Yeah.
something. Oh, good.
yeah.
Very nice.
The more you look at it, the more you see.
Some great abstracts.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And Helen. Ooh.
Very appetizing. My favorite color probably is Mango Carl, so
Is that a shrimp?
it's a persimmon, a windfall
Oh,
persimmon down on the shore at, Jordan. Last
Oh.
weekend, what a,
Wow.
Great.
Oh, that's
wow.
beautiful. And the frame.
The frame, yeah, you're right, Chuck. It's
Just
real positive.
Yeah.
And I had to sharpen here and unsharpen there, and I started to get rid of the flies, and then I thought, no, this is a typical fall scene. I'm surprised there weren't 40 yellow jackets hanging around.
I really like the brown and, I'll just say brown, there's lots of other colors in the background and then a really powerful color in front of it.
The depth of field is super.
Yeah.
What I was using is a neat thing I'd never used before much, focus peaking. I'm still one-eyed because the ophthalmologist made the same lens for me twice. I don't understand that. So
Focus peaking,
focus peaking was really helpful for
especially
me
in
on
low
that one,
lights.
because all I had to do was get close on manual, set it up, and then just move me. And when the butterfly and the part of the persimmon that I wanted glistened, I could set the color to whatever. I had it set on bright yellow. It just started sparkling bright yellow, and I knew, and then I quit. So I'm finding with my issues, that focus peaking is fabulous.
Can you
Those colors
say
are great.
what it is exactly and what you did before? What is focus peaking?
It's
You have a
an
mirror
energy
system?
system on the Sony, and I can select it, and it allows you to choose what color you want, the focused edges to be, and I can make them, I think, white, yellow, and red.
Really?
And, I chose yellow because it sparkles, and so when I'm in focus, the edges of whatever I'm in focus on sparkle bright
That color.
yellow.
Really?
And it,
Because your camera is a mirrorless camera.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's something, Susan, that we wouldn't have in our DSLR. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't even know.
Well, I started playing because, well, Betty and I go to the lake as much as we can, and she's busy shooting birds, and I could never shoot a bird if I tried. So I play with all of the toys on the camera. Of all the things I've found, focus peaking is gonna be the gift for me.
And if it's one of these things where you have a number of different things that are in your image, but different distances, if you want the first one to be sharp, when you have focus peaking on and you start doing your manual focusing, the one in the front will become that color. It'll just light up. And once it reaches its peak, that means it's in focus. And this is often really good in dark situations where autofocus doesn't work very well.
Yeah.
That's right.
I found it nice that I didn't even have to do this. Like I said, I was just moving back and forth incrementally. And I could see where the sparkles were. And I was wanting to have time to probably play with focus stacking and see based on that. Having done the pictures that way, if I could do that, but I think it would help a great deal in focus stacking. Anyway, it's a nice toy for me, but for somebody that shoots birds or landscapes, it wouldn't be helpful at all.
Both the one of the butterfly and this one, great borders.
I don't remember if I had focus peaking on that one, but that is an extreme crop. Using your extension tubes, yeah, but it's still an extreme crop. Beautiful. It's the insides of a Tradescantia flower, I think. Wow. Is what it is. So it's the same one in the pistol. I had another one earlier of a balloon flower, I think, but this one's a different one, similar, but different.
Really gorgeous.
So you did the macro thing using.
Extension tubes as much as I can with, I only have that one lens, and it's 15 to 350, I think, so I can only use the extension tubes if I'm somewhere between 50 and 70 millimeters. So it's kind of tricky to use them.
That looks just like course, she did it in black and white, but Imaging Cunningham,
Huh.
that kind of, she used to do stains and shots like that.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so beautiful, and they're so, I mean, it's so intricate.
Yeah, as good as the,
White looks like sparkles.
as good as the butterfly one is, this is really my favorite.
Something.
And that one, I just took a whim the other day, that's a castor bean, which I've never seen a castor bean that color. But anyway, it was just one morning and the light was on it and I just took it. And,
Depth of field.
Right, yeah.
the light was intriguing because it was the only thing in the neighborhood that the light was on. And I was like, well, I'll take this. And again, I used focus peaking to get the ends of the little spiky pieces sharp.
Yeah.
You're getting some good pictures with the new camera.
Yeah.
And last,
This is an older one that I took at New Hope Valley Railroad with my Canon, and I just went back. As you can see, I'm catching up from 3 weeks. I've done trains, favorite color, and macro. I would tell you the values that I shot these at, but I haven't gotten that far yet. Anyway, this is an older picture, but I played with it. It just appealed to me, the flowers in front of it, it reminded me of Tom.
I love the writing on this.
Yeah, the writings.
I guess that's, what did you guys call that, like the hot box? I guess that's part of the hot box, I'm not sure, I don't know. That's a much, much older train than the one that I've shown you before. Very old. In fact, it may not be a whole train there.
I like the way that flower is just in the center of that circle, it like, makes it stand out. If it was over to the right, or to the left of it in that white, it wouldn't be as pronounced.
Well, one issue I keep having is getting things straight. There's nothing on there straight. I think maybe over mid-right is straight, but
Oh, it's rail is
That
straight.
white height at the top is, well,
the train track is off. I can't ever get anything.
Well, not by much,
No.
if at all.
You can see
a
that.
fraction of a millimeter.
I'm using affinity, I just can't get things straight, but then it may be my eye.
Huh.
I think sometimes the perspective of the camera is such that you can get one element straight, but the other part's not gonna be.
Yeah.
But you've got, it looked to me like it was not only horizontally straight, but.
Me too. I thought it
Yeah.
was very, very squared up, yeah.
Well, good group of pictures again today. Any closing comments or?
Yeah, I have a comment. Okay, he was talking about affinity. So when I'm gonna need help on this, but when I take and massage a picture in affinity, and it goes to my Apple desktop, right? Then if I try to drag it into my photos,
Are your
it
files?
doesn't wanna do it.
Is it, well, it's still, the extension may still be an affinity extension,
Probably.
and that may be the problem. In other words, because when you do these different photos, like, they put different the
Right.
dot something
They're looking for
extensions.
JPEG maybe.
Right, so what you would have to do is convert it to, and,
Export it to a JPEG.
or
Exporting
even
it
in
may be an
Affinity,
option
you
to
can,
the.
I think in
yeah,
Affinity, you can do a save as.
Yeah,
And when you do when you get ready to save it, you save it as, and then it should, I think with Affinity, show you the different extensions that
Should be
you
like
can save it
TIFF
as.
and
And so it should have,
Yeah,
it should have a
There are
JPEG.
10 of them.
Huh?
There are 10 different extensions.
Okay.
But you JPEG will do fine.
Yeah, so once
That's,
you do
yeah,
this
so
big
like,
thing,
I
then you
like
can
that,
back,
it's anything with it.
yeah, then you can
Okay,
get
thank
it in, you'll
That's
be able
what it
to
is.
get it in your photos,
Appreciate it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Cause that's, yeah,
Helpful.
What's the next challenge?
Unusual shapes, I believe it's unusual, not using.
So Frank, you can use the Picasso thing again.
What are we gonna do?
Or interesting, I forget, it's unusual or interesting shapes.
Shapes, wasn't the perspective, was it? Let
Oh,
me just get my glasses out here. We're on, favorite color, okay, odd shapes,
Odd shapes.
odd shapes, on October 8th. Minimalist.
All right, folks.
Sold still life.
Have a good rest of your day and week. See you in 2 weeks.